already in this second. And of course, as you know, you have the option to ask questions. They are anonymous for this time. And we will do this Q&A question more or less behind our discussion. But when we see it fits perfectly to the discussion in the moment of the two participants, we will see if we can put it in. So that means that at the end we have the last round of questions, and then we hopefully have cleared or have answered all the questions for this topic of crypto assets. So let me jump in a little bit in the, two slides at least. Who is with me? I'm the person on the right-hand side. My name is Timman Bolze, and I was one of the speakers last time when we opened our webcast series. But I'm very happy to be here with my colleague Arina and with Jens Paulsen from the garage. So maybe you introduce yourself a little bit because you're from different angles of our business. So Arina, would you please give me some words from your profession, where you're coming from?
Yes, of course. I work in risk advisory and deal mainly with regulations of crypto assets. So Jens and I work closely together, and he will tell what he focuses on.
Yes, thank you, Arina. So my name is Jens, as stated here. I'm heading our blockchain digital assets business for Deloitte Central Europe, and thereby strongly coordinating also our work between the different businesses in order to really bring in the whole expertise of Deloitte when we work with the topic.
Exactly. So these are only two of our experts, of course. But I think you have maybe seen that some of them already on platforms, in conferences. They are very active in this area. So let's jump and have a short recap between to the thing of what is trend radar and looking for the trends and why does it matters for us all. We have lots of challenges, meaning how looks the future. We have lots of changes having impact to our businesses. So, and then it is very hard to do business decisions on this impact. Sometimes we have disruptive input from outside of our organizations. That could be everything. It could be new technologies. It could be war. It could be something. And that lets me go to the next, the obstacles. What is the innovation? What are the trends for the future? And therefore, it is difficult to have an overview over all these information. Maybe it's first an information, what could happen, and when is it a trend, and select if it's a trend that matters to my business. And then because it is multi-dimensional, that means sometimes 2 or 3 trends are overlapping. So and then they go to more speed, and then it's more important for the nearer future or for my business. Yeah, and the last is the objectives part. Development as quickly as possible, to have a plan, to have an overview, to be able to do quickly decisions on it, to be able to adjust the businesses. That takes time, and changing processes, changing systems for the future, and products from my company. So that's the important things. And all that fits to a process we showed last time. And at the end, we have a tool that helps to visualization, to see the trends and even have a discussion on it. And today we select the topic of crypto assets, and we saw this already in 2021 as one of our very relevant trends on the market. And we saw that it could have a duration of for adoption from 2 to 4 years. And yeah, in 24, it looks good. It is one of the main topics. And we will see and hear why it is in this area. So crypto assets, we will hear why is it important, how enthusiastic is the market sometimes with the news that is going forward. But sometimes it is unclear what is really the topic of it and how and what are the impact by regulatory, by technology, or from my business side. So hope we can have some of the questions to clear these topics. So therefore, I would start the questions with my colleagues, with Arina and Jens, and asking them, from your perspective, and we have heard you from different angels of our business and Deloitte already, what are the most exciting developments so for the business model in this area of the crypto assets? So, and yeah, maybe normally you have Jens first, ladies first, but in this topic, I would start with Jens, if it's fine for you.
How long am I allowed to answer on this question, Tilman? Because there's so much to tell
No,
about.
not usually for days. No, try to give it for about 3 minutes for all the questions, and we will see. Maybe there are some questions from the audience, so then we can combine it. But maybe about 3 minutes.
Then I try to keep that shorter here. So for me, the really exciting thing is that we are transitioning from hype into reality, and for that also. Downtime is very good. If you ask me, what am I meaning with downtime? So with AI being present all over the news, and then also cryptocurrencies for quite a time not being on the rise, but more in a bear market falling. It really differs. It's all out, and you see what is persisting, where is real development. So that is really interesting. Now, last week with the bigger shift, crypto is now raising again. We have seen the ETFs by BlackRock on cryptocurrencies. Really hitting up, and while cryptocurrencies not necessarily have anything to do with crypto assets or tokenized assets, there is a connection when it comes to the mindset, whether people are willing to deeper look into the topic or not. And but the most interesting development from my perspective right now are really on real world asset tokenized securities, and also where we see more and more developing use cases on stablecoins. That's probably the 3 areas that I will highlight here.
Okay. Good. So then on the other hand side, Arina, would you like to add something or give your point of view?
What I find really interesting is the development in DeFi, decentralized finance protocols, which allow to provide financial services without actually a financial services provider in the way we know it. So without an intermediary bank, and therefore also without a lot of regulations. So it is possible now to lend, to borrow, to trade derivatives without bank. I find this really exciting. Another thing which is more on the bank side, however, it could be also done by non-bank transactions with stablecoin. So when the intermediary organization acts as a service provider, as a processor of transactions, changing a fiat money into stablecoin and then back to fiat money to streamline the transaction, make it instant, and maybe even automate it. What we also see in the market is quite a lot of business model that really bring value to the end client, to the end customer, and to the bank itself. So like really cost-efficient solutions, which are also demanded by a customer. For instance, if we take such an area as supply chain management, we can imagine that once the good is sent, it can be tracked at every station it stops, and you will know basically where it got lost. So it goes beyond banking. However, once the good is delivered, there could be an automated payment taking place for the amount of good which was delivered. So this is something like a combination of banking and beyond banking. And there are more and more business models like this coming in the market.
Tilman, may I also ask a question to Arina?
Yeah, you can ask a question, and we got some of first question from the audience, but first ask a question to Arina, of course.
Arina, you mentioned DeFi. How likely or how soon do you see, let's call them the traditional financing or traditional banking system interacting with DeFi and DeFi protocols?
To be honest, I don't see it happening soon. For now, I think it's more like individuals or using it, or maybe smaller companies which we cannot call established institutions. While established institutions, of course, look at their clients' demands, and client demands require also regulated and stable solutions they can rely on.
Okay, I see it's a starting point, and it will grow after time or over time. Okay, so before Arina will ask back Jens, I will ask a question from the audience. And there was a question about how do you think is the German market, and maybe even with the regulation around, is positioned in the comparison with the rest of the world? Do we are ahead of the rest of the world? Are we in the middle? It would be fine if Germany is someone and somehow a front runner, if the regulation is not so as bad in my eyes. So maybe regulation is more a topic of risk advisory. Maybe you have an idea to this point, Arina, and afterwards I would like to ask a question for Jens. Would you start, or
Me? Yeah, sure.
Do you have a meaning for this? Is Germany ahead, or is we of the rest of the world, or?
I think Germany is definitely quite a progressive country in terms of crypto assets. But I think it's connected a lot to the amount of institutions, global institutions that are located here in Germany. Probably it's not as developed in this sense as the US or as Asian market like Hong Kong. But if we speak about Europe, at least, I think we can say that Germany is in front. And also, this is to big scale due to the regulated market and clear regulatory framework.
Yeah, I would agree. And still, I would say we are starting to lose ground. So the regulation has been in place for quite a while, but it takes some time to really adopt to the business models to what's actually been possible or is described by regulation, but not yet tested out, and you really find obstacles on the way to bring that to reality.
Hi, Keith. I would take over before we go to the next question, and please, I would ask you to describe more in details or differentiation, stable coins, digital assets, crypto assets, CBDCs. That might even fit into the next question then. So, what is the difference, and who is paying for this, or the introduction, even maybe the regulation, what helps to start with this different topics? So, Jens, you have an idea for this?
To sort the topics out a little.
Yeah, to sort the topics out, to make differentiation.
I mean, let's probably take one thing out of the equation here first, and that would be, from my perspective, be CBDCs, or in this case, CBDCs are probably out when we talk about crypto, but when we look at Europe and talk about the digital euro, that is something that is not going to happen on distributed ledger technology, which is another topic that we are bouncing around here. Between blockchain, distributed ledger technology. So any blockchain is a DLT. Let's take DLT as the large umbrella term, as a distributed ledger technology. And blockchain is one version of that. There are several others, but it's a starting point where we had Bitcoin. Then we already talk about cryptocurrencies as one area, the native token that live on DLTs. We have digital assets, also coming from regulation now with the EVPG, and we have stable coins that resemble another asset. But while those topics are used often also interchangeable, when we, and I say people coming from more from the use case side, are talking, when we know what we're talking about, they are sometimes differently minted when it comes to regulatory terms. So from that perspective, Arina, maybe you would rather talk about the MiCA definitions than I should.
Yeah, to define the terms, that sometimes really makes sense to go back to regulations and see what's the common idea of what this or that notion should mean. So basically, we as practitioners use crypto assets and digital assets, and also virtual assets, as synonyms, I would say. But MiCA, which is the European regulation, uses the term crypto assets, and it defines crypto assets as a representation of a value or of a right, which can be stored or transferred electronically with the help of distributed ledger technology or similar technology. So that would be the starting point. And then MiCA, as well as just market, I would say in general, differentiate between different types of crypto assets. Cryptocurrency and distributed cryptocurrency is one of them, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but there are also others, like e-money token, which is the same as a stable coin. E-money token is usually backed by a real-life currency, for example, euro. There is an asset reference token, which is backed by a real asset, for example, gold. A utility token, which represents a value which is issued by the supplier of a good, so the user can buy good with this particular token which was issued by this particular supplier. Yeah, so I think these are the topics that were covered in MiCA the most. We can see also, of course, NFTs. They're covered in MiCA only if they're collectible, but not if they're unique NFT. So unique NFTs are not regulated. And we have, of course, tokenized securities, which are regulated, at least in Germany, with the help of Electronic Securities Act, German Electronic Securities Act, which allows organizations to issue bonds and some types of funds just without a paper-based certificate. So in fact, when this Securities Act was published about 3 years ago, we were all thinking in the market, okay, now that will be a hype, and everyone will start implementing tokenized securities. But somehow we see that it started, but then it went down a little bit. Yeah, so for whatever reason. However, now when MiCA was published last year, we see the rise of the assets which are regulated by MiCA. It's just a fun fact.
Good. So then I would like to jump back to the audience, and there was a question regarding to Jens, what Jens mentioned before. So there was, you mentioned, Jens, the real world assets, tokenized assets, as an interesting development. What is the actual benefit, and if they are interesting, in brackets, why have they not been adopted widely yet? What do you expect RVRs will adopt the best? Real estate, bonds, etc. So a little looking in the future. You are.
Thank you. I think sometimes we overestimate the real speed of adoption, because non-fungible tokens, NFTs, real world asset token were the first things that we spoke about in 2015, 2016. As that's great, let's do that. We can tokenize everything, and everybody is taking part of it. So this is a real idea behind the democratization of assets, that was behind all the whole idea of distributed ledger technology. This is one thing why it's interesting. And the other part, and this is now maybe a question also about how far you define real world assets. But from my perspective, financial products are incredibly boring. And this offers an opportunity here, in comparison to other markets in the world, where securities and investing securities is very prominent, and this is something you talk about with your friends, with your colleagues where you have invested. This is not so much German or European. It's getting more there, but we are not so much into that. And by using real world assets, it becomes much more, well, touchable, more real. This is for me the interesting part here. And if we, for example, tokenize patents, that could be really interesting also for engineers for the first time. Maybe they don't really interested in companies and how they move, but if we tokenize a patent, that could be different. The same with music. Real estate is something that has been bouncing around a while. It's but that works already with SPVs, and as long as we don't have the land registry law changed, which is a thing that is discussed, I don't see that this will fastly change. But it's a different way to really offer this to people. Same also with renewable energy. So if you imagine that you have this large windmill right in front of your window, you're probably not that much into it. But if a part of that belongs to you and you get a revenue share, that is a totally different feeling. So it can make investments much more interesting and more real. That's why I think it's so interesting. It will definitely pick up further.
Make crypto assets more real. Okay. That sounds good. Good, thank you. And I would take the next question from the audience before we go back with my questions, what I've thought for to discuss. So the question is taking about crypto assets. We all see the spot Bitcoin ETFs resulted in a new hype sparked in the US. So yeah, it's really, we see it. What is the main risk for wider institutional adoption of Bitcoin, etc., as an asset class in Europe? So that is even with the next sentences. Can I expect this in Germany with MiCAR, or will be Basel III or Basel rules kill the adoption of unjustified capital requirements, even I think for banks, for the risks? So yeah, who likes to answer these questions, or who will start to answer these questions? Arina, you're laughing.
I can try.
Yeah.
I will look into my magic glass, and I will tell you. So I do believe that sooner or later it will also come to Germany. But I don't think it will come to Germany unless it is properly regulated. Or at least it will not be adopted unless it is properly regulated and it's clear what value it brings. Because the ones who offer it a lot to institutional investors, for example, and institutional investors need to make sure that this product is stable, that is regulated. When it's not regulated, it can just disappear. And all the money is lost. So I'm not sure it will come under MiCAR, under this version of MiCAR. Maybe when MiCAR 2 is published, or another regulation which focuses just on these types of assets. Yeah, so basically we just need to wait and see where the market goes and what demand there is on the market.
And regarding Basel, and let me make sure to say that I'm not a regulatory expert, right? I have a fancy for the word unjustified that I see there, because I feel the same. So that these 1,250% risk weighting that are out there in the room feel a little unjustified. On the other hand, and if I recall that right, that's also only an interim measurement until we really see clear regulation being implemented. But I hope I'm not totally wrong here.
I can't imagine a scenario, to be honest, where the whole world has such ETFs and Germany not, or the EU not.
Okay. See, this question was more about even the risk side and the Basel maybe. First of all, we sometimes thinking that the MiCAR and the relations in Europe and Germany helps us to open as an opportunity to start the businesses, to start these crypto business assets. So if will you maybe change a little bit again the point of view, saying you see more the advantages and the disadvantage for even the banks? I think Basel III was the risk and the capital underlying meant before. Do you think how is balanced? Do you think we should try to do something, or to wait because of the risks?
Well, I think when we take a risk-based approach, then we can do something.
Okay.
It's the short answer.
Good. Good. So we have a next question. How's tokenization of patents, art, real estate done in Germany? Is ownership tokenization possible without a costly SPV? This I would hand over to Jens maybe first.
To be brutally honest, that is what we are currently discussing with clients and also internally, to see whether we find other ways of really putting this into life, saving the costs and not adding other costs on top of it. But I think there are a lot of companies and fintechs really actually looking into that right now. And I'm confident, as always, that the future will have a strong solution for that, or that the discussed solutions will be approved by the regulators.
Okay. Good. Then we jumped already in some very, very deep questions, and we thought formally to start more or less to explain some more even what DLT and other stuff, what it means. So maybe there's another question. Maybe there's the next one. So I would first jump in the next questions, because maybe the audience is aware of all these standard questions. So do you think it is a bit late for banks how to have not entered into the crypto asset space so far to enter it only now. Considering that while many institutes are already quite far in their journey. That's I think, interesting question, because it depends on from which angle of the banking market you will look. There are some sectors, I would think, they are not so far. They are starting, but maybe for an overview or an idea of the different banks, Jens, I think you have lots of view on this market side. Even maybe of the ECB as a regulator, how far they will let us go in the moment.
But I can only clearly say no. It's not too late. There's so much to do, and there's so much to discover. I mean, we haven't seen clear solutions in place for machine-to-machine payments when it comes to tokenized money. We haven't seen a large banks or groups of banks offering the custody of my personal crypto belongings in an easy way, or with an appealing offer. So we have all those fintechs out there, but I don't see one of those universal banks really offering those services yet. Same applies to the tokenized corporate shares or name shares. There's so much to do and so much to test out and really to bring over to that new backbone. Definitely not too late. Maybe others, and I'm happy that we have those pioneers, have started quite early, but it's definitely not too late to join the party.
Do you think how many customers of the banks in Germany already investing in this area? Is it 3%, 5%? No, it is. So to this question, I think there's not enough room. What do you think?
I cannot remember the number of people owning the concrete number of people owning crypto in Germany, but I think I heard a number last week that 6 million people in Germany own Bitcoin.
Okay. More than
Not 100% sure, but I think that was the number.
Okay.
Maybe to add up on this, that would make sense to look at your own bank or organization, what your clients want. What's the demand of your clients, of your client base? Do they have crypto assets somewhere else packed? If so, you may want to offer them this service so that they have all their portfolio in one hand. It is also important to look at how diversified the portfolios of your clients in general. If they are diversified, they want to most likely add crypto assets in the portfolio. And another point is that the younger your customer base becomes, the more probability it is that they will demand crypto assets from you. So as soon as you decide to go this journey, it's the right time. Better sooner than later.
Okay. Aim to start with an experience building up your business, not as the last one. That's great. Okay, good. Then we might. Oh, there's another question jumping in. Oh. Yeah. There's a question from Marcel. Can you perhaps give us a concrete example for tokenized assets, meaning a concrete project with which you have advised? I'm not quite sure if we can, but we will see. Currently, regulations under Vermögensanlagegesetz would also apply to such tokens according my Humby options. Thank you. So, okay. Can we give some insights? Maybe saying it's a bank or is an asset manager or whatever. It is an exchange, Jens. So maybe it's an open, not too concrete.
I mean, it's that's tough because I don't have a waiver from a client here with me.
Yeah.
to say what we have concretely done here. But and I'm missing the English word actually. The Emissionsprospekte are definitely also a question here, and everything that is needed for it. Arina, do you have something that is abstract enough to share?
I would rather not share, because once I start talking about business model of our bank, the bank may recognize it, and I would like to abstain, if that's okay.
Marcel, maybe we can take that offline in a smaller round at another point.
Okay, I think the interesting clients, when I oversee it, right, is on the one hand side banks, but also asset managers, and we have also spoken to exchanges because that's the way where it goes in future, hopefully. So all the participants are sometimes starting with pre-studies, evaluating what's for the business. And yeah, I think we can't go more concrete. Good. I will reach out. Okay, good. So for future, then we maybe go to the more or less last round because time is fleeting. And I would like to ask the last question before we go to maybe the last round of Q&A. We'll see how it comes. How can your organizations, the client organizations from our side, effectively, you need all the three elements: business models, that means what is for, what question here in the room already, business model having a positive impact, the think of technology and regulations in combination, but maybe the most important is to do something to make projects on its business model and the positive impact on it. So, Arina, would you have an idea? Could you give some impact on that? Not client names, of course.
Yeah. I think it's important to start with business model first. Once you identify client demand, you need to identify what cost efficiency and revenues this solution may bring for you. And once your business plan is done, I would recommend aligning with compliance, legal, and technology as soon as possible. So a first step of implementation, you need to get a commitment of these three departments. Then if they don't have the knowledge or the time capacity, you will know it early on, and will need to think about an alternative solution. But you will still have enough time for it.
Okay. Some addition, Jens?
Arina mentioned it. The business model is the important part in this space where we are right now. To say let's do a big bang and change everything from today to tomorrow is tough. But even if you want to start small and tap into it, and we had the question, is it too late? And I said definitely not. And I would love to see more courage sometimes to go the next step. It's important to have a mixture of both. So you need to have the overall picture where you want to head in mind in order not to build solutions, because there's also some technicalities behind it. It's not only regulation. So there is some technology that needs to be implemented, and this needs to be done in a way that is scalable or suitable for your future business model if you don't want to rebuild everything all the time. So it's important to really have a vision of where you want to head and then break that down to smaller chunks and do it step by step.
Okay, thank you. So time is running, but I would like to give the last three questions before we give an outlook for the next episode. Very quick question and short answers, please. Would you prefer to invest in digital euro or in fiat money? So ladies first, please. What do you think?
Digital euro.
Okay, already ahead.
To invest, I would rather take crypto.
Okay, so different. Would you rather invest in regulated or non-regulated crypto assets? Then, Arena?
Regulated.
Okay, sure side.
I mean, it's a rather, right? I would go with the non-regulated right now to be brave then.
Okay, but maybe not the full amount. Okay, no roulette. What is more important, technology or regulation for you? Is it convenience or is it regulation? Arena?
We need to choose one. Regulations.
Okay.
Then in order to have the full picture, I say technology. Well, I have to say I've been quoted in the past that I did say, and I really did say that regulation is the killer of innovation. And I need to rephrase that because it's really in a lot of times it's the base for the investments that you need to really innovate because you need a certain level of security in order to really be able to invest. So I think we need both, but we need to make sure to not over-regulate the market.
Yeah,
Agree.
that's a good thing. Good. At the end, and we are pretty in time now. So thank you, the audience, for the questions. It makes it much more fluent, and I hope you enjoyed the discussion between Arena and Jens. So thank you for all this. Even if you have to ask some questions like Marcel in a smaller room, it makes sense. You are invited to contact us. You have seen and you get the presentation afterwards, I think. And I would like to, Robert, to present the next episode, what's going on. So in May, so after Easter, a little bit time after the first holidays in May, we have the next episode, episode 3. It's artificial intelligence. It is real harm, fraud by Gen AI. Gen AI is always in every mind. In the financial sector in this area. We have two of our colleagues, Peter Schad and Julian Ursig. Both will give you an insight what we are thinking for, what are the questions for the future. So in this area of time, I will say thank you. Thanks a lot for participating. And see you next time in the next meetings, episode 3 or 4, depends on your what you like to see. So thank you. Bye-bye. See you next time. And I think we are closing the recording. Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Tilman.